Welcome to Forgotten Stones. Here is a piece of iron that has been battered by violent monsoons, baked in extreme heat, and choked by modern pollution for 16 centuries. By all the laws of chemistry, it should be a crumbling pile of red dust. Instead, it remains intact. You can find this anomaly standing quietly in the center of a ruined courtyard. This is the Qualit al-Islam Mosque in Delhi, India, and the artifact standing before you is the Iron Pillar of Delhi. It is a massive structure, rising 7.21 meters from the ground and weighing over 6 tons. The shaft tapers up to a highly detailed bell-patterned capital at the very top. Iron corrodes. That is a basic fact of the natural world. Yet this colossal monument sits in the open air, openly defying the relentless march of time. For centuries, outsiders struggling to make sense of this pristine metal assumed they were looking at something else. Early European travelers frequently misidentified the pillar as being cast from brass or bronze, metals known to resist the elements. Even into the 20th century, modern science struggled to explain it. Science textbooks suggested the pillar was made of chemically pure iron, arguing that the absence of impurities prevented rust. When conventional explanations failed, fringe theories filled the gap. In the late 1960s, author Eric von Daniken pointed to the rust-free iron as evidence of extraterrestrial visitation, arguing that only advanced technology from beyond Earth could produce such a marvel. The explanation requires no visitors from space. The pillar's survival is the result of human ingenuity, a forgotten triumph of ancient engineering. To understand how this artifact was built, we have to look past where it currently stands. The pillar was not created for the mosque in Delhi. This gold coin displays a royal standard of the era. Similar iconography and Sanskrit verses carved directly into the metal of the pillar date the artifact to the 4th or 5th century, during the reign of King Chandragupta II of the Gupta Empire. The text indicates the pillar was originally erected far to the south, at the Udayagiri caves in central India. It was forged to serve as a Vishnu Twaja, a sacred standard honoring the Hindu deity Vishnu. Centuries after the Gupta Empire collapsed, the massive shaft was uprooted. Historians believe it was transported to Delhi either by the Tomar king Anangpal II in the 11th century or taken as a prize of war by Sultan Iltutmish in the 13th. Hauling a 6-ton iron column across hundreds of miles of rough terrain was an incredible logistical feat. But the monument's physical and chemical composition would prove even more resilient than its movers. Ancient blacksmiths could not melt and pour this volume of metal into a mold. Instead, the entire 6-ton column was painstakingly forge-welded by hand. Smiths heated small lumps of wrought iron and hammered them together horizontally, systematically rotating the shaft with each strike. This diagram shows the cross-section of the iron matrix. The manual forging process left a unique internal signature. The continuous hammering trapped tiny non-metallic impurities, specifically woostite and phaelite slag, deep within the iron. In modern steel, impurities are a weakness, but here, these thousands of elongated slag pockets act as physical barriers. Notice how a microcrack cannot travel across the diameter of the shaft. It hits a slag inclusion and is instantly deflected. We have documented proof of this structural resilience. In the 18th century, invading forces fired a cannonball directly at the pillar at close range. Instead of shattering into pieces, the pillar merely dented. The violent, repetitive process used to forge it gave the pillar an internal armor capable of absorbing massive kinetic shock. Absorbing physical impacts is only half the story. The pillar's ability to resist rust comes down to a specific chemical anomaly. The ancient smiths fueled their smelting fires with local wood that was exceptionally rich in phosphorus. As a result, the metal contains a high concentration of phosphorus, far higher than what you find in commercial steel today. When this iron was first exposed to the elements, it did start to rust. The surface metal began to dissolve in the rain. But as the iron washed away, it left those high concentrations of phosphorus behind, which pooled at the surface. This concentrated phosphorus acted as a chemical catalyst. It reacted with the degrading iron to create a dense, amorphous barrier known as mesowite. This layer blanketed the raw metal beneath, cutting off the oxygen supply required for rust to spread. Over time, the chemical reaction progressed. The soft, amorphous mesowite layer slowly hardened, crystallizing into a highly structured compound called iron hydrogen phosphate hydrate. This created an impenetrable, low-porosity shield. This transition from a soft barrier to a solid crystalline shield required exact environmental conditions. Delhi's local climate cycle, brief, intense monsoon rains followed by long periods of dry heat, provided the thermodynamic trigger needed to cure and solidify the compound. During the dry months, the layer dehydrated and tightened. During the wet months, the surface passivated further. The ancient metallurgy and the local weather cycle worked in perfect synchronization to grow a self-healing skin across the iron. The creation of this self-healing metal was deliberate. The iron pillar represents the apex of a sophisticated metallurgical tradition that thrived across ancient India. These artisans manipulated metal on a massive scale. They produced the legendary wood steel, highly prized by medieval warriors, and erected other colossal monuments like the towering iron pillar at Dar. Their engineering was specialized to its environment. We know this because another ancient iron pillar, erected near the sea at Konark, was eaten away by corrosion. The salty coastal air completely disrupted the protective chemistry. Ancient mastery involved balancing the properties of the metal with the specific atmospheric conditions of its final location. Today, our manufacturing priorities are entirely different. Modern blast furnaces intentionally strip that phosphorus completely out of the iron. Contemporary engineering prioritizes absolute tensile strength, ensuring structural steel doesn't become brittle under immense loads. By optimizing strictly for load-bearing strength, modern steel surrenders its natural defense against the elements. We rely on synthetic coatings, paints, and aggressive chemical treatments just to keep our infrastructure from rusting away. Standing in the Delhi sun, this 1,600-year-old column offers a masterclass in passive, self-healing material science. It achieved a level of environmental endurance that modern industry is still struggling to replicate. Thank you for watching. To uncover more of history's hidden engineering marvels, make sure to subscribe to Forgotten Stones.